Hello lovelies, welcome back. We have a whole lot of stuff to get through today, including bees and lots of forestry, just forestry in general, so it's gonna be super fun. Let's get started. Alright, before we take off, there is a bit of a miscellaneous task that I want to take care of ahead of time. The Alchemical Bag is from ProjectE, so it's from the same mod as the Transmutation Table. And this guy serves as, it almost acts like an ender chest, and it also has basically soulbind on it. So if you die, this bag will keep all of your stuff in it, and I totally want to make one of these because I just made the builder's one, and I don't want to have to, like, if I fall off because I don't have flight yet, which I probably could get, I'm just being lazy, I don't want to lose this because that chicken takes about 2 hours to lay the 2 pieces of wood to remake that. So let's go ahead and make the alchemical bag, and then we'll get into the rest of the stuff. So first things first, we need to make the conveyance dusts, and there are 3 different types. So we need cobblestone, we need coal, we need charcoal coal, I think we need diamonds. It's been a while since I played with this mod. This is diamond and coal covalence dust. Is it convalence? No, it's covalence. Okay. That's the cobblestone and charcoal. This one is iron and redstone. Iron. Let's just get a bunch of that. And redstone. I haven't hooked my chickens up yet, otherwise we would just make it in there. Let's see. Okay, so you get 40 per craft. And there we go. Okay, so there's the alchemical chest. Let's get that guy back out and then go ahead and make this guy. There we go. There's the bag. So, yes, look, this thing is enormous. But we just want to put all of our stuff in here that we don't want to lose. So those guys and their tools, basically. And we don't care about any of the rest of this. Oh, the bag itself can be thrown in here. Yeah, sure. Let's do that. Okay, so there we go. That's all I wanted to take care of, just so I don't lose, you know, the really important stuff, like that builder's one, my Chisels and Bits stuff. I don't want to have to remake all of that stuff. So, okay, let's move on. The chicken choir. We are almost done. We're waiting on one last egg. Let's see. Oh, there it is. So that is the last egg. Okay. Let's see here. Where's my net? There it is. This is the completed chicken choir. I even had I got the silly ones. So this one lays fireworks, this one lays grass blocks, cake, and I don't know what this one lays. You had to feed it a black banner to make it though, so maybe he lays banners? I don't know. Oh, while I'm over here, I might as well show this. I have hooked them up to the storage network, and it's a very, very simple setup. They're all just connected with ender conduits on the back, and so the top 2 are all joined off of one, and then there's a single connection down here. You want to make sure that you break the upper connection just for lag, just to reduce the lag, because the more connections you have, the more laggier it gets. At least so I've heard that is the way that Ender IO works. So this is a very simple setup. They connect through this one point right here, and this leads down into a chest. It's got a mod item filter inside of it, and you can click the gear, and this is set to hatchery, which all I did was take an egg from hatchery, throw it in there, and then that sets it, and you throw it right there in the input slot, and then that is now set to hatchery. So, and this is set to priority 10, and all that does is pull out everything from the hatchery mod, which are the eggs, the specialty eggs that they lay, as well as the manure, and puts it in the trash can, because obviously the last thing we want is for our refined storage to be full of a bunch of random eggs. So everything else because that has a priority 10, this is set to a priority 0. So everything's going to try to go into here first. If it can't, then it will go into this chest, which is connected to an importer with a stack upgrade and a speed upgrade. Is connected to a network receiver. And if you've never used the network receiver and transmitters, they're very easy. All you need to do is go to your refined storage setup. So you just want to throw a transmitter down somewhere on your main line, and there is you want to craft a network card. You take this network card over to your receiver and you, I think, shift right click on the receiver, and then it will link to it. See, that says link to 155 blah blah blah. That is linked over there. That's the coordinates for where that receiver is in the world. And then you bring it back and you put the card into the transmitter, and essentially it allows wireless transmitting between the two. So there are no cables running over there. It is just this transmitter talking to that receiver, and that receiver is what is hooked up to the chicken setup. So that is how the chickens are filling up our inventory. I did set up a drawer system, all the compacting drawers and some regular stuff. They are in no particular order. This is basically just how stuff started coming in. I just made sure that the ingots made their ways to compacting drawers, and that was about as much control as I tried to have over it. This was kind of cool. All the dyes came in at once. Like this like filled in like that. These guys I filled in later. These are some of the last chickens that I made, and the like funsies chickens. So yeah, we've got a storage system. I know it looks kind of cramped in here, but that is because there is a too wide walkway all the way around. This is just future proofing, so if I need to expand my network with more transmitters or whatever, more disk drives, whatever I need, I can do that, and it's up and it's out of the way, as well as I have room to hook up pipes to these drawers if I need to do so in the future, and I still got room to move around back there. So I know it's kind of cramped looking, but it is the size of the mausoleum above. I also made a wireless crafting grid. It is made the same way as the grids that we made in the last setup. The only thing to note about this guy is that it must be charged. So I also made this wired charger. You just throw your item in and it charges it up. And last thing, I also made this repair talisman. I know you can get these out of the loot bags, but I never got one, so I just crafted it, and that was extremely easy to do. You just, the conveyance dust that we made last time with string and paper, that will repair your tools if they are on your hotbar, I believe. And I apologize for the weird, like the fact that everything is already set up ahead of time. I recorded this clip during the process of making the episode, and I had a power outage, and not only did it break my world, it also broke my files, so I am re-recording. You're going to want 3 machines to start with. You can start with 2, but 3 is ideal. So you're going to want a carpenter filled with water to start with, and that is going to give you the analyzer, the portable analyzer. This is going to tell you the stats on your bees, and yeah, so you're going to start with a carpenter filled with water connected up to power to an RF point, and then you're going to get a squeezer. Now your squeezer is going to produce seed oil, and it does so incredibly slowly. You can throw a circuit board in there if you want, but it's I really never bother. This is going to produce seed oil at the rate of 10 millibuckets per seed. All of the vanilla seeds have that value on them. They are not very fast at all, and they don't make very much. So you're going to want to throw, like I just did, you're going to want to pull out stacks of seeds, throw it in there, and then just go do something else for a little while your second carpenter builds up its buffer, because in this pack you can actually craft your hives. Now, this is unique to this pack. This is not normal. So if you are familiar with the bee, the like genetic tree, you can probably pick and choose which ones you want. But if you're brand new and the trees are confusing to you and you don't know where to start, you probably are going to want to make one of each hive. And you'll notice that they have EMC values. So you don't want to go make like 50 of these because it'll just be painful. Make one of each and then throw it into your table, and then that way you can just pull them out as you need them. So that's how you get started. The next thing that you're going to want to make is I have a clip. You're going to want a bee smoker, and you're going to want a scoop. And there's a regular scoop, which I have here, and then there's also a charged scoop, which you need RF to charge. Now, at the beginning of the episode, I had made this guy, the wired charger. The scoop does not go in there. It doesn't work. You have to use the wireless charger in order to get your scoop to work. And it's the same thing with the grafter, the industrial grafter. You need the wireless charger for both of those to work. So you've got your initial bees. You're gonna want to make yourself an apiary's chest because bees are a pain in the butt to keep a track of. I have made 2 of them. The reason for this is because bees come in 2 different types. They come in ignoble and they come in pristine. Now, the pristine stock will never die. No matter how many times they cycle through, they will never actually die. You will always get the princess back. The ignoble stock will eventually die. It is a guaranteed thing. They may last for a really long time, but they will die off, which means you don't want to use ignoble stock to be the founders of your important lines, because they will eventually die. There is a way to prevent that, but it is a massive RF drain, and it's not really worth it when you can so easily obtain pristine stock, especially because the hives, you can just pull them straight out of the table. So the way that you get the pristine stock is basically to just pull a stack of hives out and just sit here and break them over and over and over again until you get pristine stock. Well, look, there's one right there. And it doesn't matter which hives they come from. All that matters is that they are pristine. Okay, so we're gonna throw those guys back in there. Alright. Now, these scoops, these also have EMC value. You can make that if you want and just like grab them out of there, but the scooperator, the durability is the RF on it. So if you make the one, and then it'll basically just last forever as long as you charge it. So that's probably the much better option. Alright, let's get rid of that guy. Moving on. So now that you've got a stock of pristine princesses to choose from, the drones don't matter. The drones don't have a stock. They just are. So now you're going to want to get into your lines. Now, where you go from here is going to be dependent on what your end product is. The lines are enormous, and this mod pack has 3 different bee mods in it, and they all add their own thing, so it's even worse than it would normally be. For us, we wanted the tax collector bee because we're going to use that for our mob farm. So our tax collector bee comes from a thief and a police. So to make a thief, we need a police and a sinister. So right off the bat, we know we need 2 different police lines. So in order to make a police, we need a valiant and a graduate. The valiant is just a rare drop from any hive. So it's, I think it's like a 5% chance to get this guy. So you're just, you're going to crack hives until you get it. You'll eventually get there. Now we also need a graduate. So a graduate is a common and a student. A student is a cultivated and a common. A cultivated is a common and a forest, or a meadows or a modest. So it's a common plus a hive bee. And then a common is a hive and a hive bee. So we're going to need a bunch of commons, basically a ton of common drones. And then we are going to build that up into the graduate bee, and then with the graduate bee, let's see, we're going to breed that with the rare drop bee to get a police bee. So that is how we get that. And then we breed the So we'll have 2 police lines, and then we need to get the thief, we need a sinister bee. So a sinister bee is a cultivated and a modest. So we already know how to get all that. We have GenDustry in the pack, and GenDustry makes everything so much easier. So you're going to want a couple of machines right off the bat, as well as the apiaries from GenDustry. Get your power system up and running, get a little bit of EMC, ignore this comes way later. Get a little bit of EMC, like maybe 1 or 2 million EMC, and get GenDustry up and running before you even touch bees. So, that being said, you don't need this many apiaries to start with. You probably want to start with just 2 or 3 will do you well. Now, the machines that you want to make, a Mutagen Producer. This guy requires some kind of matter in order to produce mutagen. Now, the biggest one that you can throw in there is Yellorium, and I made the Yellorium chicken specifically for this, and I didn't look at it, and sadly the Yellorium chicken, for whatever reason, does not lay... Oh, it's not going to show me right now. It doesn't lay Yellorium, it lays refined uranium, which is no good. So, if we, let's see. Chicken jobs, yeah. The Yellorium chicken lays refined uranium, so the only way to actually get Yellorium is through bees, or, you know, through other, like the normal way. So I went and took out a bunch of glowstone from the EMC table, and that worked just fine. That got a ton of mutagen. The reason that you want mutagen is for the advanced Mutatron. You don't want to actually make the regular Mutatron, except for making it in the process of crafting the advanced Mutatron. This block, if you supply it RF plus mutagen, which is what that this first block does, this Mutagen Producer, if you set them right next to each other, you don't need anything else, it'll auto eject. With RF and mutagen, it will take 2 bees and give you a guaranteed mutation that you can select yourself. So for instance, in order to get a common bee, that's one of the ones that we needed so many of, we need to take any hive bee with any other hive bee. So I've got here a Rocky Princess, which is a hive bee, and a Wintry Drone, which is a hive bee. And you see down here, there is a common queen that can come from this. Now, if I throw some genetics labware in here, which you see has an EMC value, so you just need to make one, throw it into your table, and then pull a stack out. With labware, this will allow you to select the mutation that you want, and this comes in really, really handy when you have bees that have multiple outcomes. You can select which one you want, it's a guaranteed outcome, and there we go, it's done. So once you run a bee through the advanced Mutatron, you've got a queen. Now you need to run your queen through an apiary, and she'll cycle over. Oh, there's no light mod in here. Let's see. Here we go. This one has a light mod. There are upgrades that this is why these apiaries are better. It doesn't matter what biome you're in, you can fix the biome. I have an automation upgrade, which means she will endlessly run. It will just continuously loop the drones over for me. I don't have to come back and do it here myself. And then I have a light upgrade in there, and all that means is that it doesn't matter what time of day it is, they will always run. And you get all these crazy bee particle effects when it's running, so you know that it's working. You have a visual cue for that. So anyway, once you get your queen, you're going to throw her in an apiary, let her cycle over. It's going to take a long, long time unless you have lifespan upgrades, and we'll throw that in there. That'll let her cycle over quickly. And you're going to get a princess and a drone, and they're both going to be common, and your princess will always come out whatever stock that the queen was going in. So this is why founding your lines with ignoble stock is not really that great, because you can never upgrade it. You want to start with pristine stock so that you end with pristine stock. Okay, so our common queen has cycled over. In order to make a diligent, we need a cultivated and a common. So we're going to grab a cultivated drone, and go back into our advanced Mutatron and throw these guys in here. Now you will see we have 3 possible outcomes from this pairing right here. And this advanced Mutatron allows you to select which one you want, which is what makes this the best block in existence as far as bees are concerned. So I'm not actually going to make any of those, but that is how that works. Oops, don't break your flowers. Okay, so that's how you get going in Forestry bees in this mod pack. Some things to take note of here. If you are interested in doing trees, you can actually see when something is happening. See right here it says pollinated and the leaf is very bright. That's because of these spectacles. If you take those off, there is still a texture change, but it is not nearly as noticeable. See, it's just like neon now. So if you are specifically looking for pollen, let's see, there's that. They stand out with the spectacles. Now we can get our Sinister Queen. Now she is probably going to come out with some terrible stuff on her. So we definitely do not want to immediately throw her in. Yeah, she's aggressive, so she's going to do damage to us. So we need to take this off of her. We need to turn this effect to none. So the sampler is going to allow us to take the samples of traits that we want. So what we're going to want to do is throw the sampler down. We're going to want to get a trait from a bee that has effect none. So, and then we're going to want to, I believe it's the transposer or the imprinter. We are going to want to, well, we're going to need all 3 of these machines anyway, but essentially we want to take the sample with effect none and put it on that bee so that she is no longer aggressive. We'll just pump everybody full of labware. This will at least get us started, as well as we need sample, gene sample things, this thing, blank genetic sample. This is why it is a bad idea to not play in the most efficient way possible. This is why everybody just rushes environmental tech and doesn't mess with all this other stuff. Okay. Yep. We're good to go there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look for the bees that we have the most of. Let's see here. I'm going to throw these guys in here. These guys have an effect of freezing. That's not exactly what I want. I want an effect none. Effect none. Okay, so we're going to take these 14 meadow drones and we're going to pop these guys in here. And they are going to, if I supply them with power, they're going to run through that machine. Now that machine is going to destroy them. It's going to consume the bee. And that's why you only want to use bees that you have excess of. You don't ever want to put important bees in that machine or you will deeply regret everything. It's going to consume the bee, and what we're going to get is a single trait that was on this bee. So we're going to go through this over and over and over again until we get an effect none. And so territory average, that's not a very good one. You can reuse these. All you have to do is throw these in a furnace and it will wipe the information out. Never sleeps, false, that's no. That might be okay if it was true, because that means that they would work forever, but it's false, so it's no good. Territory average, so none of these are particularly good. I know that this is rapidly becoming, lifespan short, well, shorter is not really that great. This is rapidly getting kind of gross looking. We will absolutely make a proper build for this, don't worry. That is not what I wanted to put in there. Okay, that took a good probably 45 tries before we finally got in effect none, but we do have what we want. So once you get the attribute that you want isolated, then you want to craft up these genetic templates, just the blank one. There's a ginormous list of them. You only need the first one. Once you craft a blank genetic template, you are going to combine them in a crafting table. It's shapeless in any way. And if you look over here, you see it says 1 of 13 chromosomes, and all of them are red except for effect, which is now effect none. And make this your master template. As you isolate better and better genes, You want to have a master template that you can apply to your bees going forward so that you don't have to, you know, murder 80 bees every single time you find a bee that has a bad trait on it. You want to just have this one template that you consistently make better and better, and this is what applies to all of your other bees. Okay, so now that we have our genetic template with the attribute that we want, the effect none, we're going to go to an apiary and put our queen in so that she cycles over and becomes a princess. Oh, she's going to need a hell biome emulation. Oh, I think that the sinister bees killed a chicken. A wild flint chicken was sacrificed to the sinister bees. Oh man. Anyway, okay, so now that we've got these guys out, let's put the princess in as well as the template that's going to run her through, and she should come out with a effect none, which if we get our portable analyzer out here and wait for this to finish up, we're also going to run one of the drones through. Well, while he's running through, we're going to pop her in here, and there we go, effect none. So these are no longer aggressive bees. Okay, so I'm going to toss these guys in here and let them cycle through. What we want to do is produce an army basically of drones so that we can run the drones through the genetic sampler and get species sinister. So in the future, if we want to come back to this line and for instance, if we go to sinister and click uses, we can see that they're made in several different, or they're used in several different lines. So we don't want to have to keep breeding up to sinister to move on. One of the massive attractions of GenDustry is that it allows you to skip that. So if you see over here, I have bee sample species, common and forest. These are completely useless. I just made these to show. This is what you want to start getting from these drones. So we're going to have to sacrifice a ton of drones to the genetic sampler until we get species sinister. And then once we have that, we'll do this process to base just any bee, like just a basic meadows bee. We'll throw in here and we'll make it sinister, and so that way we can start our lines at later points and we don't have to do the beginning over and over again. And that is part of what makes GenDustry so freaking awesome. Alright, got those guys out of there, so we're going to take our cultivated princess with a common drone and we're going to get a graduate. So we select our graduate. We could potentially get the noble or the diligent, but we're going to get the student queen. So then we're going to throw the student queen in there. She's going to cycle over, and then we're going to get the princess. And then with the princess, we're going to breed the student princess with yet another common drone, and that will give us a graduate, and then we can throw our valiant in there. Okay, so we've got our graduate princess run through, so now we're going to throw her in with a valiant drone and get a police queen. Here we go. One step away. Okay, there's the thief. We're just gonna run her through. We'll run her through this one. Over here I've got the second police queen. Not dark enough. Not nighttime. Ooh. This one is a different biome. Okay. So let's look at our upgrades. Our biome upgrades. We need a nighttime emulator. Lifespan, cooler, desert, pollen, winter. Ooh, is there not a nighttime one? Maybe not dark enough, not nighttime. I wonder if the hell emulation upgrade works. Too hot, too dry. No, okay. So this is our bee that if we wanted to seriously make use of it, we would need to breed out, yeah, nocturnal. We would want to change that if we were going to make use of this outside of this one time. I'm just gonna let it go as it's fine. We'll just AFK through a night cycle. It's just pilfering all of my stuff. No. Okay, let's get a chest and put all of my stuff down because I don't want the its inventory to fill up with all of my stuff. It just straight up jacked everything. While we are waiting on the thief bee to cycle over, I wanted to show you something. This has been, there are 16 in here, in each one. This has been running for maybe 20 minutes, maybe like absolute tops 20 minutes with all 16, and we have 67 blocks of emeralds. Well, now we're up to 35 million, just under 36 million EMC. So, yeah. If I put one more roost there, I think we would just be set forever. We would really not have to worry about very much. We are going to have to get into ProjectE very soon. The passive EMC generation, just because you specifically need to use the EMC blocks and the EMC passive mechanics to get certain things, like the coal. I think it jacked a comb, its own comb back. It stole your air. It's stealing its comb. Give. Alright, we've got a thief, princess, and drones. So, we're gonna go over here. We're gonna get a police drone. So, there we go. There is our tax collector queen. Awesome. Sweet. There we go. We got her. Alright, well, I was in the middle of making a slice and splice. What in the world? And then the power went out. So, let's see how far we got. What? What just happened? Where's all my stuff? It's like the setup is still here, but it's not. Maybe I just have to place and replace everything. Everything's turned around backwards. That's so crazy. Oh no, what did it do with all my disk drives? What? What just happened? The power went out and it wrecked my world. Oh. And something is growling very angrily. It's a wolf. Oh, I hear zombies. Oh my goodness, something horrible has happened. There's another wolf. Okay. I don't see anything too atrocious other than I apparently have lost all of everything that was in my storage system. Well, as long as my chickens are still functioning, I don't really care. That's weird though. Let's get a 64K and see if it updates. That's super weird. Let's get a couple of them and then storage. Oh look, it's offline. How is it offline? Let's see, maybe... Although the storage drives themselves are gone, so... Oh, what? The power shut off too? What is this madness? Why is the power shut off? Oh. What is going on? Okay, well, logging out and logging back in, fix the power system. The drives just disappeared. They're all gone, so I just put 4 in there. Luckily, I actually used a drawer system for the bulk of my stuff, so I actually didn't lose that much. I lost probably like 2,000 or 3,000 items in that were actually in the system, but the bulk of, you know, like all of my actual crafting materials are still here, so it wasn't that bad of a loss. I'm gonna go back up the world though, because I have no idea, like, that was really weird. Everything just broke. So I was just meandering around waiting on the bees when I made a sinister discovery. Look who's over there. I didn't put that there. And he's got red eyes too. I think one of our malevolent spirits from the shrine has taken over one of the teddy bears, and he has left a message. Fix my shrine or another system gets up. Wow. Really? Apparently, it was not the power outage. It was the malevolent spirits who were responsible for breaking everything. Disk manipulator. That is just rude. It is rude. So the question is, do we comply with the malevolent spirits and fix their shrine? I'm assuming he's talking about the roof. The roof that I've just been ignoring. Do we comply with the— oh, there's another one! Oh, they're multiplying! Dang, they both got red eyes. I wonder which one is Noob and which one is Fireclucky. It's probably Noob who broke the storage system, I would imagine. He's the one who's got the most to be angry about, I guess. I don't know, maybe Mr. Fireclucky is actually quite a violent lava chicken. We'll have to figure that out. But, do we comply with their demands and fix the building? Or do we stand our ground against the malicious spirits? Alright, so one of the things that I wanted to get set up right off the bat here is a little bee house right out front. That would make much more sense for a druid of the grove to actually be involved in the grove. So I've got out here, this is a dark oak and jungle wood. These are going to make teak, which is one of these saplings that I need. I actually want a desert acacia sapling, which I got in the very beginning of the series out of a loot bag, but I don't know where it is. I must have thrown it away, or just like clicking too fast tossed it off the side of the map or something. It's gone, and it was gone before the spirits took out the refined storage system. So we are rebreeding it, and we need to get a teak and, let's see, I think a balsa, it said. Yeah, a balsa. So the teak is a dark oak and a jungle, and then the balsa is a teak and an acacia. So that is what we are working on out here, and that desert acacia is going to make the doors that I want to put in the mausoleum. So It doesn't look like anything's pollinated, but that's not surprising because the bees, I think, stop like here. Every so often one will fly around, but I think that's more of just the visual cue than where they're actually going. So I'm gonna put a completely obsolete little, oh, see, there goes one right there. Yeah, so I think this pathway is kind of their limit. So we need another hive out here. The hive that lives here is not going to be involved in any actual production. This is just going to be for the visual, you know, the visual of having a hive here, as well as they're going to be responsible for actually pollinating any forestry sapling breeding that we do out here, and that's it. So we're going to throw away everything that they make so that they can continually produce. And yeah, so what I've got here, I've got an item conduit. We're gonna put here, we're gonna put the hive on top, the apiary. We're gonna get our wrench out and set that to up is gonna be extract, always active. Let's see, we're gonna throw the queen in there. It's too cold, no flowers, no power. Okay, not a big deal. So the other thing that we're gonna do, I do want this to be buried. So I'm actually gonna go down. Let's see, I think we're actually gonna go down one. And this is the power room. I don't think there's anywhere that we can actually hide it. This is like right in the middle of the power room. So this is fine. It's not like the power room is particularly beautiful. Alright, so we're gonna put the trash can here. We want to go down by one. So we'll do that. We'll set this to insert. Make sure it doesn't pull her out of there. I think you have to pull out of the sides to pull the queen out. I just want to make sure that it doesn't, you know, pull the drones out. But anyway, okay, so there's that. Now next we need a power source. So we're going to add that, and then down there we're going to add a flex point. Here, I suppose, is fine. We're going to add to the network, and it should now be filling up with power. Okay, these guys are good. So all we need to do at this point is throw upgrades into the apiary, and she should run. So these guys are just going to run forever. Whatever they produce is going to get tossed into the trash, and all their entire purpose is just going to be pollinating this front area and making those cute little bee particles. That is their entire purpose in life. So for upgrades, we are going to want a biome upgrade. So we're going to want a plains emulator. We're going to want a light emulator so that they can work at all times, and we're going to want an automation so that I don't have to sit there and mess with them. Do I not have another? I've got one. Okay, let me throw this into the table really quick so I can pull it out in the future. I don't think that I mentioned this. I did go ahead and set up a witch water barrel. This is not automated. This is not working on the creative anythings. This is just some mycelium with a stone barrel in the middle, and the only reason that I went out this far rather than doing just a single piece is because I needed the mushrooms. So a couple of red mushrooms spawned when I first put this down, as well as the brown mushrooms, and I needed the brown mushrooms to make fermented spider eyes for the lifespan upgrades for the bees. So if you want them to die faster, you need mushrooms in order to make this recipe, and you need the fermented spider eyes to make the lifespan upgrades, which are these guys right here. Yeah, you need 2 fermented spider eyes. So that's what that is over there. That is not permanent. Like I said, this is not in any way automated or in use for the creative stuff. It's just, that's what it is. Okay, so here we go. These guys are just going to run forever, and they are going to pollinate our trees and hopefully help us move a little faster along in forestry, because man, does it take a long time to get pollinated leaves, and then it's like only a fraction of the time when you do get pollinated leaves that you actually get a mutated sapling. I'm going to put a cut here. I'm going to make a little tiny build around this. Because this has a light upgrade, I believe that I can chisel in bits something to look like a bee house around this so that it doesn't just look like a yellow honeycomb block. And it'll fit, you know, outside the monastery a little better. Okay, so the last little bit is going to be drawn in just like that. And there we go. We got ourselves a fully enclosed little bee house. Sweet. So obviously the honeycombs are pretty large for the size of these bees. These are like dinosaur bees. But it's bright. It adds a really, really bright spot in this little grove, you know, and sitting in front of this kind of hulking monstrosity behind it. So I really like it. I went and I looked up on the internet as what some actual bee houses look like, and a lot of them actually have roofs. They do look like little tiny houses, and they're up on like stilts or legs, and I guess the funneling system, whatever it is that they use to siphon the honey out, is oftentimes visible. So I went ahead and I left the Ender IO conduits visible for that reason, and then I carved out just a little bit of the panel there so that it looked like it was up on legs. And yeah, we made a roof. And so the only problem is because the apiary is actually inside of that, all of the chisel and bit stuff are outside of the block. So even though this looks really small, this is actually a 3x3 setup. Alright guys, thanks for coming along today. I know it was a little strange, but we'll get it together. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and I will see you next time. Bye!